Welcome to Keep Your Torch Lit podcast. I'm Sam,
I'm Sarah.
and it looks like Jack is not a part of Leia's list because apparently only Leia's list is here to do the recap this week, so it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate he wasn't on the list, but he's on my list, so at least that's something.
Jack's on Sarah's list. That's
Yeah.
it's a big deal. You know who's
Not
not
not as
on
big
Leia's list?
not a big of a deal as Leia's list though, so still sucks for him.
Leia's list seems to be a pretty big deal in this episode. Like, what do you think about that strategy?
It seemed like it wasn't really a strategy, but then she discovered that it was, and then she just kind of like went for it. Like, I feel like off the bat, it wasn't meant to be a strategy, but maybe it was. I don't know. It's just the fact that everyone started talking about it that like made it a strategy.
Yeah.
Because like if no one cared, then like it wouldn't matter. But everyone ended up caring.
Do you think this is like good gameplay by Leia?
I mean, the fact that it's caught on and she's like using it to her advantage. Yeah. But it like for the people who aren't on it, it's like they probably wouldn't want to work with her as much.
Yeah. Like our poor friend Kevin, not on Leia's list and gets the boot tonight.
I mean,
No more
it's
Chaos
working
Kevin.
so far. I guess Lucy was on her list.
Maybe, yeah.
But most of like the people are still there, the ones who are on her list.
That's true. I mean, I don't know if she really like started doing it until later, but I feel like Will definitely would have been on the list if he hadn't been voted out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. Even though it was kind of, I guess, on paper, sort of a straightforward, like majority sticks together kind of vote. But like, I don't know, what was your overall impression of the episode?
This was the first episode where I, like, kind of from the previously on, figured who was going home. And like, at first I was like, because I mean, I guess they highlighted the whole Bailey Kevin thing. I didn't think Bailey was going home, so I was like, it's probably a Kevin boot. But then usually the edit like confuses us a little bit. But even then, I was like, no, it's pretty straightforward Kevin this time. So I think this was like a relatively straightforward episode.
Yeah.
But it still happened to be like pretty long because I guess there was still a lot going on. But
yeah, I mean, I guess we saw a lot of like the dynamics of the group of 7. This kind of like plan that was trying to get me voted off that did not succeed. I guess there was some other stuff going on, but yeah, I mean, Kevin, it's funny because I remember like in the pre-merge, I would ask like who you and Jack thought was going home, and like many weeks you're like, how is Kevin still here? Like I expect him to be going home.
I really thought he was pre-merge.
Yeah. No, it's funny because like even this week, I mean, the group didn't necessarily even really want Kevin to go home. Like a big reason why he got so many votes is because we were trying to like flush out an idol that he could potentially have. There's a lot of suspicion he still had it, and then he just like didn't have it. And I was like, well, okay, I guess like Kevin went home now. But it wasn't necessarily like too much like, oh, we need Kevin out.
Did anyone actually believe he had an idol though? Or was it more so like that's a good reason, so we'll just like stick with this reason?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know necessarily who I really thought had the idol. I had basically no idea. I definitely did. A part of me did think that Kevin could have it. Like I was like I was like at least like 30 to 40%. Like, oh, it could be Kevin, just because.
But like, wouldn't he have played it earlier?
I don't know. Like this Kevin, like it's a wild card. Maybe not. Like when would he have played it?
I don't know. I guess like there's a couple weeks.
The Jackson week maybe, or the week Will went home. But I was thinking like, okay, well maybe Kevin didn't give his idol to Jackson because he wanted to save it for himself. Like, there's no way to really know, but obviously it's either Emily or Andrew who has it for real.
Mm-hmm.
And they were
Which
keeping it like
we
on
still
track.
haven't found out. I feel like this is like a first episode thing that we still haven't found out.
It's kind of wild.
Yeah.
It's going deep into the season. We're like going to be episode 10 and still don't know.
I'm really invested. I have high hopes for this idol. Like, it better do something crazy or I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah. Do you know who has it, or like who do you suspect has
I don't
it?
remember who has it. I don't know, because was Andrew's the one that's like really long,
Yeah.
and then Emily's is the one that was kind of like
Like a turtle with a
yeah. There's like a weird charm on it.
yeah.
I genuinely have no clue because they both look fake to me. Like, to be honest.
See, that's the theory why Kevin could have had it, is like they both
Yeah.
look fake, but he just didn't have it. So
Yeah. Sad for
we'll see.
him.
It is kind of funny that like Andrew's convinced that it's fake, Emily is convinced that it's real, and it's like we don't know, like either they're both correct or they're both incorrect.
Right.
So I don't know, it's kind of funny. We'll see. Maybe hopefully it'll be a big move or something like that.
It better be.
Yeah. It is also funny that like the two of them are tied together because like they're the two Sabu Sabu people.
Oh
Only season 3 people that
yeah.
are left.
I didn't think about that. I forgot they were both on Sabu Sabu.
Yeah. Yeah. All the Tormenta like got out in a row, like in this in All Stars. Literally, like, well, it's funny that pattern of like all Tormentas. Was it what? Basically, it was Dylan, then it was Emily.
No,
Then
Dylan's not
Will, then Aaron,
Tormenta.
then Jesse. That's
Dylan's
true.
not and
He
Jesse's
was
not
season 3 though. There was like all 5 season 3 people in a row, and then 4 of them were all Tormenta.
Oh wait, Jesse was Tormenta. Yeah, Dylan was on
Yeah.
the black one.
Yeah, Terfidi.
Yeah.
And then all season 2 made the jury, and then so far now only season 2 is on the jury.
So weird. But
Only
I don't
Cerulean.
see any like season alliances necessarily going on. I think that like the friendships outside the game matter more than what season. Like, surprisingly, there's been no like season versus season face off.
Yeah. Well, I remember people being like kind of paranoid that season 2 was working together when like basically half of the jury and like merge was season 2. It was like 6 out of 13. But then like, very clearly we weren't on the same page, between
Right.
Me, Lucy, and Nick, and Kevin, and Bailey, and all these people all voted for each other. So, but it is funny that the jury is all Cerulean right now.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious. Dang.
Yeah, 3 out in a row, 3 season 2.
Wait, has any Ohana? Is it only you and Bree from Ohana?
Yeah, it's just me and Bree from Ohana.
Oh, okay.
We're both
Ohana
still in.
stays strong.
Yeah, Ohana's strong. That was like what I was telling her in that one like that one time, the first time that we met, and I was like, oh, like please don't vote off me, please don't vote off Lucy, like we gotta stay Ohana strong. So like me and Bree had like a pretty good alliance, and like I think you saw a little bit more of it this episode. Like the two of us were meeting a lot, and kind of like Cooper and Leia. It's funny because like we both had similar feelings about Cooper and Leia, and like you kind of saw us like shit talking a little bit the last few episodes about Leia searching Cooper's room and stuff like that. So yeah, Bree's really funny. I mean, she's a really funny person to talk to.
Yeah.
But so Nick goes home. There's like kind of the aftermath of that tribal council, and then Adam is telling everybody about like the Apollo thing and how Nick had the idol.
Yeah, and
so
you actually were kind of sus of him at this point because he didn't tell you anything about this.
Yeah.
And like as a close ally, like usually there's somebody you tell like pretty much everything to, or at least like if you have a number one. So like I guess you kind of have some doubt for Adam now.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that it was the right move from Adam's point of view?
To what? To not tell you, or to be spilling everything after?
I mean, either one, I guess.
Well, I think he kind of saw this going differently. Like maybe he wanted to get the idol himself and just like not have anyone know. I think that would be the right move. I wouldn't. if I had an idol, I probably wouldn't tell anyone. So it just
Yeah.
didn't really work out the way he thought it would, probably.
And like in retrospect, it especially knowing how the idol ended up working out, that you had to say a specific word at tribal council, like I totally understand why he didn't tell me, because it's like you kind of want to minimize the amount of people that know what
Yeah.
like Apollo is. But at the time I was super sus because I was like, how does like Nick know more about this idol than I do? Like, and I was like, oh, I have the potential of like going home if Nick plays an idol. Like, I feel like that's a piece of information I would have wanted to know, but I can't really blame him though, because it's like what, like only one day that he didn't tell me about it, and it's like it's because if I would have known about it, I could have said Apollo. So I
Yeah, it's
definitely
also
understand.
like he does want to set his game apart from you at some point, you
Yeah,
know?
and I think that that's what I was like noticing in the moment of like,
Mhm.
you know, plus like in the last like few weeks, Ab and I kind of not completely been the same page, because previously to this, um we were both like worried that like each other could have been voted off. So it was sort of
Mhm.
like we were trying to protect each other. I was trying to get the vote onto Kevin. He was trying to get the vote onto Nick. But at the same time, we kind of had backup plans of like throwing each other under the bus. That way, if like
Mhm.
the majority didn't flip, like I was hoping it would be Adam instead of me.
Right.
Adam was hoping it'd be me instead of him. So there was also all this like talk where we were both kind of throwing each other under the bus, and then like hearing things about it. So like definitely some mistrust. And obviously, Adam, he wants to set his game apart. I was hearing about that, and I was worried that, oh, maybe Adam will flip on me. So
Yeah.
definitely some mistrust.
Oh, for sure. Which is always sad because like in the beginning, you always just think you're just gonna like be on the same page for a while, and then like when you're not, it's just like even though you know it's probably gonna happen at some point, it's just sad.
Yeah, it's really tough to like to completely trust your ally for 100% of the game. There's always going to be moments where you don't trust each other, and I guess the question is whether like you get over that or whether it gets worse.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't know. We'll see how it builds, but yeah, it's definitely some rocky. The thing is too, like at this time though, I still did trust Adam more than most of the people in the game, because like Cooper and Bailey, I clearly didn't completely trust.
Yeah.
Megan, obviously, we had some issues in this episode. So it's really tough to trust anybody 100%. It's just how it is.
Mhm. Yeah, makes sense. Oh, something interesting I noticed that kind of ties into this is that AJ was really working on increasing his threat level this week.
Yeah.
Because you know how like you and Cooper like try to decrease your threat level throughout this game? AJ's at the point where it's like he wants to have street cred. Like if he makes it to the end,
Hmm.
he wants to like have a chance to win. So you kind of see like the dynamic of him actually trying to like increase his threat level a little bit by like I forgot what meeting it was, but he was trying to just like prove that he was like actually doing stuff or like I don't know. I just
Yeah,
thought that was interesting.
it is interesting because like I think he deserves a lot of credit for finding the idol and playing the idol and then like flipping the merge vote. So like I feel like at the time, and even watching it back, like it's funny because I didn't really view it the same way at all, as it feels like everyone else is kind of saying like, oh, like Adam is seen as whatever Sam, like in Sam's pocket, or like a pawn, and that's how Adam was viewing himself and like kind of upset about it. But I was like, in my opinion, I was like, well, me and Adam have voted together and played a lot of this game together, except for like Adam basically saved my ass at the Dylan tribal when he like got Megan to flip, and then
Mm-hmm.
he found the idol, played it on Lucy, and then got the vote switch at the merge. And I couldn't claim necessarily any of those moves. So like in my opinion, I was kind of worried. Like I feel like Adam has a little better resume than I do. So it's like kind of weird. It's funny that we were both kind of like intimidated by each other.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like I guess perception can be reality, but I didn't necessarily agree with the perception that other people had, that like, oh, like, Sam's more connected, Sam's doing more than Adam is. Because like, well, like Adam has made some moves though. Like how is he not getting credit for winning the challenge single-handedly by shaving his head and getting a tattoo and then
Yeah.
flipping the vote? Like I didn't do those things.
That's the hard part about a returnee season. Like your past seasons, reputations does just kind of like follow you a little bit.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Whether or not it's like deserved. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe for Kevin, I guess it probably was deserved, but like, I don't know. From some people, it kind of like haunts them. Like, remember Ben in season 4, how like he could never really shake off the Ben bomb, even though he was clearly trying to.
Yeah, like I feel like if I played again, the snake reputation would definitely be a thing I'd have to factor in. Like, even if I didn't want to play the same type of game, people would still probably see me as a snake, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Which, like, in that point is like, you know, if that's already the reputation you have, it kind of almost like forces you sometimes to play a certain way. Like, do you think that you would lean into it, or you would like just try really hard to like change people's perceptions?
I think if I were to play again, I would play a slightly different game.
Mm.
But, you know, we'll just have to. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away anything that may or may not come in the future.
Yeah,
That's all I gotta say.
I don't know. Maybe All Stars 3, whatever, come back to campus, you know, and with Tom and Dale and all those people. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely a thing, like the perception stuff. And
yeah,
Tom was another person that was kind of a victim of that. So immunity challenge.
Okay, yeah,
that's like
immunity
5 seconds.
challenge. Yeah, what the heck was that? Was it actually that short? So the immunity challenge was the one where you have to like hold the thing with the cup on it and you have to like knock other people's cups off. The way it was produced was like made it seem like it lasted like 2 seconds.
That's basically what happened. It
Oh.
did last like 2 seconds. So it was like kind of, it was free for all. So like, I don't know. That's the thing. People were all like simultaneously knocking each other's cups off. So it just didn't last that long. I don't know. It was kind of like, it was kind of weird too. Like you saw in the episode, like like I knocked off Andrew's, but then he basically like dove and like torpedoed mine as like his was in the air before it hit the ground. Which I was like, oh, like that, you know, that shouldn't count, right? But then like, the person's like, no, like that counts, like you're out too. And it was like by that logic, like I remember Ian was there, like vouching for me. He was like, oh, that doesn't make any sense because by that logic, why wouldn't every single person do that as soon as their cup was knocked off? Like torpedo the other person, because in like the normal 1v1, you know, it's a little bit different where you knock someone's off, then you're just trying to like make theirs hit the ground first. But it's like if yours is knocked off, like you're just out. Versus like, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, it is what it was. Like Crush did get me out, but like it was kind of, I feel like the setup of the challenge like didn't really make a ton of sense. And it just kind of feels like a bunch of chaos happened, and then like Emily and Bailey's both got knocked off at the same time, and like I don't know, one of them just got declared the winner and didn't even seem clear who actually won.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I mean, if you watch the episode, like you'll see like both of their cups hit at about the same time. Like it wasn't really clear who won. They're just like, oh, like Bailey wins. I was like, okay, sure, whatever, Bailey wins.
Dang, I'd be mad if I was Emily.
I mean, I think they did slow-mo. They like looked at the camera frame by frame, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, I remember feeling like, oh, like okay, that's it. Like that challenge lasted like 5 minutes. Like that was sort of silly.
There's always that one challenge that just like ends so fast.
Yeah. Like that season 3 one where they had to run around the track. And it
was like 2 seconds.
They had to get up at like 6 a.m. It was so dumb.
And wear onesies.
Yeah, the onesies. That was so silly.
Oh, we have to declare that Cooper is again the fashion icon of the episode because he was in a freaking suit for most of the episode.
True.
I think it's hilarious that he is holding this record when his normal wardrobe is just all Michigan attire, but somehow he's pulled out the fashion icon 2 episodes in a row.
Wait, what did he win it for last time?
The yellow glasses.
Oh, you're right. Our boy's growing up. Our boy Cooper is advancing in his style right before our eyes.
Did he get that interview that he was in New York for? Is that what he got? What he's currently working?
That's a good question. I want to say yes. I want to say that like interview was for the job he currently has.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, I mean, it's funny. Like this is senior year for a lot of us, so like
Mm-hmm.
we were like doing a ton of interviews like in the middle of Survivor, and I remember feeling like, oh wow, like this kind of sucks. Like I don't have enough time to apply for jobs, and I graduate in like a few months because I'm just too busy playing Survivor. Um, but Cooper found the time to fit it in, so good for him.
Mm-hmm.
And won a
Yeah.
fashion icon award out of it. That's really the biggest thing out of that. The interview, the job, that's fine, but it's all about the fashion icon award.
Yeah, he was thinking ahead. He knew he would get it.
Oh, definitely, definitely. He was really planning like years in advance here.
What else is the main stuff this episode? I
Uh,
remember the High School Musical Stick to the Status Quo. We're getting so many throwback songs.
that was great. What was that song used for? What was like the context?
Uh,
I don't
wasn't
remember.
it like, I don't know, wasn't it just like to tell people to stick to the plan?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it seems like that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, a part of me though was thinking ahead, like, okay, obviously I don't trust Cooper and Bailey. I've been saying it like every episode. I was trying to get Cooper out a few episodes ago. And so I'm thinking like, well, I'm going to try and get a little bit ahead of this and try and get Megan on my side.
Oh, yeah.
This was a big part of the episode here.
Oh, yeah, and she didn't buy it. She literally immediately Megan missiled you
She did.
and like threw you under the bus. What
Yep.
didn't you tell her that like you didn't actually trust Bailey and Cooper that much? Or
Yeah,
like
I
Bailey?
basically said like they have too much power. Like we
Yeah.
need to weaken them. Like I told her like I need to I want to get Bailey out. Like we should work together. Stuff like that. I mean, I came into that conversation basically like feeling like as much as people keep saying and stuff like, oh, like it doesn't seem like Sam's ever, gonna forgive Megan, ever gonna get past the stuff Megan did. It's like I very much wanted to, and I recognized that I had to in order to like do well in the game. Because you can't just like hold a grudge for the entire game. You need to be able to be flexible and work with different people. And so that's what I
Right.
was trying to do. Like, okay, Megan, like we've had our history, but it's fine. Let's move past it. And let's work together. I think this will mutually benefit us because we both don't, we're both threatened by Bailey. We both will benefit by like being against Bailey. We should team up.
She's not ready though. She's not past it.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I think she just didn't trust me. And to be honest, like
Mm,
I didn't necessarily give her a solid plan. I didn't trust her enough to do that. So why not? It's why
right.
I really was like, let's just hang tight for another vote. I promise it's not you. Like, and I just want to know that I can trust you. And then like if after the vote, maybe we can like make a more concrete plan on what to do. I didn't want to give her any like incriminating evidence that she could use against me. And she still
Why?
found some. So,
Why do you think she trusts Cooper more than you?
I mean, Cooper and her don't necessarily have like any baggage in the game.
Right.
That makes
That's
sense.
true. But
But
I feel like they also don't know each other as well.
yeah, but it doesn't necessarily seem like people, as much as like the talk of this episode was like, oh, people are going to work with who they're closer to and, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
friends alliance. It isn't necessarily the way the game's been playing out. I mean, just because you're closer friends with someone doesn't mean you'll work together. Because sometimes it's even like worse. Like you might be closer, but if you're against each other, the feelings are more intense versus a blank slate might be someone that you want to work with. So like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
me and Bailey were tight. Me and Cooper were tight, but we didn't trust each other. Me and Arian obviously weren't on the same page. Me and Megan. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see where Megan was coming from. Like I didn't really give her much reason to trust me. And, there's a chance that by spilling this information, she could have potentially gotten me voted off, which would have been better for her.
Yeah. That's true. Wait, did she want you out this week?
I mean, that's what the plan was. Yeah. Basically, this information was spread to Kevin and Bailey, and the plan was to try to get Kevin and Bailey to flip and vote me out, along with
Mm,
Megan, Andrew, and Kevin. And Kevin kind of gets Emily B on his side. Like he basically like goes to her and like trashes on her game a ton. And as much as we'll starting with that. Like, what do you think about Kevin going Emily B and the strategy being like, you need to flip because you suck?
I don't think that's ever a good approach because people are going to be defensive. Like if
Yeah,
anyone's told that their survivor game sucks, they're going to be defensive, especially because people now are going to be on the jury. So it's like, wait, why don't you think I deserve to win? Like I'd be trying to flip them to think otherwise. So I don't think
yeah,
that's a good approach. I think you should always appeal to people's egos.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I can understand how in this case, like Kevin's pitch is that Emily needs to do more in order to win. Like she needs to make some moves. It doesn't
Yeah, but
necessarily.
don't frame it that way. Like get her to come to that conclusion herself.
I mean, yeah, you also don't
You
need to just
know?
like insult her to her face because then she's just not going to want to work with you. Like in
Yeah,
the voting booth, she's
exactly.
like, "Wow, Kevin, like you tried to say I suck at the game, but like looks like you're getting voted out and I'm not." You know, like it
Yeah,
almost made
like
it antagonistic.
anyone would feel the same way.
Yeah.
Like people want to work with others with people who respect them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it didn't, I guess, end up working, but a part of it ended up kind of working because Emily does like come to Bailey like, "Hey, like maybe we should do this move," and then Bailey
Hmm.
basically like doesn't want to.
Bailey is I saw somebody saying like she can be kind of chaotic in the game, but for some reason she does end up calling a lot of the shots. And
She's
like
in a good
nobody's thought
spot.
about targeting her ever, really.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to for about 5 seconds, and then it instantly got
Yeah.
leaked to her. So she
Yeah.
has a powerful information stream leading to her because of all these
Mhm.
conversations in passing.
I I know. And she has immunity this week, like
That's true. That's true. And Bailey's in a good spot. I mean, that's basically what I was saying to Meg. Like my pitch was like Bailey is the most powerful person in the entire game. Like she created an 8-person alliance, and then she flipped on it with a 7-person alliance, and then she won immunity, and now she's like the swing vote and a potential vote to get me out. Like she pretty much is like just controlling the game at this point.
and
Like
that's what we
whatever
were
Bailey
saying
wants.
I think last episode, like this is why she's able to play so chaotically because no matter what, it still ends up going her way.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's like doesn't have to be as careful.
No, like she has a lot of routes that Bailey can take and go really
Yeah.
far. I mean the biggest downside is she does have a target on her back, but she seems to have a lot of people that like also have her back.
Well, does she have a target on her back? I feel like you and Cooper have like bigger targets.
I mean, it seems like Kevin is throwing the three at the tribal council. Kevin threw the 3 of our names out and basically said like Kevin, like Bailey, Cooper, Sam, like those are the people that are running the game, and you guys need to get them out. So
Yeah.
she is being kind of named publicly at this point. People
Hmm.
are aware that she's formed these alliances, and even
Yeah.
Cooper, he's saying his strategy is like, oh, Bailey's kind of a shield for me at this point.
That's true.
And Emily is saying that she wants her big move to be getting Bailey out with her idol.
Okay. Why Bailey over you
Because
and Cooper?
it's probably because Emily seems to view like kind of similar to how Adam's talking about like, oh, people see me as like Sam's sidekick. Emily feels the same way about Bailey.
Uh
And so she's like, oh, well, I need to get Bailey out then using my idol. And she kind of assumes like, oh, like Sam and Cooper will go out anyways. Like that'll just happen. But Bailey is someone that like I specifically want to do myself.
Moral of the story is watch out for your sidekick because they will
Yeah.
come at you once they need recognition.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's tough because in these like alliances, it's very difficult for both people to feel like they're completely on even ground. And that's the important thing. I feel like people, for an alliance to work, everyone needs to feel like they're on
Hmm.
pretty even ground. They have a pretty even say. Like they're both like kind of equally
Yes.
respected, and you can't control other people's perceptions in the game. Because Emily, it's like, you know, how there isn't a ton of things in her game you can necessarily point to, be like, oh, that was really bad.
Yeah.
Like she's been playing a pretty good game. She's in a pretty good spot. She's pretty well liked. I maybe she's not as respected by like someone like Kevin, but I mean, what do you think about Emily's game?
I mean, I think she hasn't ever been targeted. And that's, you know, the
Yeah.
name of the game right now. I think towards the end she'll have to do what AJ's doing and try to increase her threat level a little bit, but she's already thinking about it. Like she
Yeah.
has like big moves planned, and it's all about timing because you don't want to make them too early.
It's true. It definitely is about the timing. You don't want to make
Mm-hmm.
them too early, and you also don't want to wait too long. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's tough. But I don't know, who else have we not talked about yet? Well, do you think that Megan like made the correct choice in like throwing me under the bus?
I don't necessarily know if throwing you under the bus like raised her up in Cooper's on like Cooper's list, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like if she stuck with you, I feel like she would have gone up on your list. Is that true?
I definitely like was very willing to get more allies on my side because I mean, I didn't have that many people I trusted super well. Leia, Bree, Adam, basically. And then I was like, okay, well, I need some more people, you know?
Exactly.
So,
I don't know if it was the right move. But
yeah,
I understand if she thinks it'll get you out that week, then it makes sense. Which I guess she thought there was potential for.
yeah, that's the thing. I'm not sure, like, if that was how much that was her intention. Because if it was, like, why not just go to Bailey directly, you know, and
Right.
prove with the text messages? Because, like, I was able to, like, I just told Bailey they were fake, and that was kind of like where it ended. But
I
I
could
do, I don't
see
know.
like her just wanting to kind of create chaos amongst the people who are like well connected and just like sliding by that way.
Yeah,
Because there's very little she's able to do in her position right now
I
with
know.
like how socially connected the rest of y'all are. She's
She's
kind
in a
of
tough
like
spot.
handicapped there.
Yeah, I can't blame her too much. Like it's also, you know, too early to tell whether it was a good or a bad move. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I honestly did want to work with her, but I can understand of why she didn't believe me or why she just
Yeah.
didn't want to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, what other options does she have? She's on the bottom. She wants to like make something happen. And she does feel pretty hopeless. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what's your take on this kind of discussion revolving around like the friends and like the social group that's in power?
Oh, that
And
she got mad about.
yeah, does it feel it feels to people on the bottom like, you know, they don't really have a chance, or maybe it was like predetermined and they're just at a big disadvantage.
I can see her frustration because like from her point of view, it's like this goes beyond the game, but at the same time, there's people like AJ who was on her same season who I think maybe has played a little bit of a better social game.
Yeah.
And like I don't know with All Stars, like we were talking about, the pre-gaming is part of the game. Like I know it's like you can either make it a rule that you're not allowed to pregame, which it didn't happen, and because that wasn't a rule, it just is part of the game. So like she could have, and she actually did put effort into pre-gaming when it came to like hiding her whole relationship with Jackson. That was like her
True.
pre-gaming.
Yeah.
But maybe she could have spent some more time building more relationships too if she wanted to. But I don't know. I understand the frustration though. I do.
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, to be fair, like, I mean, me and Adam didn't pregame with each other at all. Like our first
No,
conversation
exactly.
the
Yeah.
first week, like, you know, it's like there's one thing about I feel like there's a difference between like pre-gaming, like, oh, this alliance is like predetermined, you know, months ahead, like, oh, we're all going to work together versus like
No, I don't
just
think there's
having
any of that
different
at
relationships.
all.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, like I was trying to get Cooper out, you know, they were trying to
Exactly.
get me out. And this alliance formed because of, you know, Bailey feeling betrayed by Sarah and Nick and like, you know, flipping against them. But I definitely can understand though, like there is an advantage just by being closer friends and having more connections because you have like more options of people to work with. Or like the biggest thing I think is like being on production for a while, like I had an idea of like what everybody's games were like, or like who's friends with who or who doesn't like who. And like it even just like it gives you like a reputation that like, oh, you're a bigger threat. And then that's
Right.
the reason why people might perceive me as a bigger threat than Adam, despite Adam making a lot of moves. So like I definitely can see how, from Megan's perspective, it does feel like she's starting out at a disadvantage. And I recognize that. That's why I was saying in the episode that like this is definitely true. I did start out with an advantage by having more relationships. But at the same time, for one, that also gives a bigger target as a result.
No, exactly. It's like a balance.
It's a balance. And also like Survivor inherently, it's just not a fair game. That's not saying that it's right, but it's not even in a returnee season. It's impossible for every single person to start on an equal ground because everyone's relationships with each other are different. Like somebody like that has a lot of enemies is going to start off at a tougher spot than someone that doesn't. Someone that has more friends will start a better spot. Someone that's like been around longer, someone that's been a less threat in their previous season. Like there's a lot of factors that lead into like, whether someone has an advantage or disadvantage coming into the game relative to everybody else.
Well, yeah, and that's why Survivor is like really about adapting. And it still is a little bit luck for sure.
Oh, that's definitely for.
But you have to be able to adapt to whatever situation you're put in.
You do, but I could see how if you were like have less connections, it's almost like you have like less room for error,
Okay, but like if you have less connections, like put more time during the season to like build up those friendships.
That's true. There's a lot of friendships in the season that like were formed during just the course of the season.
Exactly.
Like me and Adam. So yeah, I definitely, I feel like I feel pretty similarly these days as I did back then, but I also like, I empathize with what Megan's saying, and the way the episodes seem to be like, oh, there's like Sam's side and Megan's side, or Sam's point of view, and it's like, I feel like, I don't know, I can definitely I understand what she's saying too, and I still do. It's both. I feel like she has very valid points.
I understand where she's coming from. I understand the frustration. I don't know. I guess I don't know how it was with her during the game, but like, I feel like a lot of her meetings are her begging, like the other person, instead of actually building up that relationship. But I guess like where she is in the game, she kind of has to sometimes just do that.
Yeah, I mean, also with Megan specifically, she did get kind of screwed by the production leak. I mean, I don't think that screwed her game, but it definitely like made her play differently than she probably would have otherwise, and made her more paranoid. So that also sucks.
Yeah,
that she had to deal with that. Someone like Sarah, or Kevin, like they definitely did make decisions in the game that, ended up impacting them later. Like Kevin turning on Will, or like Sarah, betraying Bailey. It does seem like those are pretty clearly, like those definitely had consequences that led to their position right now. And it's like, Kevin's case got him voted off. Sarah's case, we'll see what she can do with it. Same with Megan. But I don't know. There's like a bunch of factors that lead to everything, and it's like really hard to pinpoint. Is 100% because of this?
Yeah. Should I eulogize Kevin?
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing I can remember from this is like kind of like Kevin and Bailey. It feels like a kind of like a final closing arc on Kevin and Bailey's. I don't know, whole duo. Like you get this like emotional scene of the two of them before Tribal, kind of talking about their relationship, and it's funny because we remember that I mean, I'm sure you remember very clearly their duo in season 2 when we were on a tribe with them.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning, Bailey was like, I'd be stupid to work with Kevin. But at the end there, they had like a sweet moment where like Bailey was kind of talking about more so their friendship, like outside the game, and how she like knows different sides of Kevin. So I'm glad they didn't go out this season with like a super toxic,
Yeah.
like sour end to the relationship.
Yeah, I
Although it was
agree.
kind of sour on Kevin's side a little bit, but
It
I'm
was.
sure he's over it.
It did feel more of like I don't know, just Kevin being silly than it felt like mean spirited. I feel like in the moment, like we were all laughing. It wasn't like seen as, Kevin being like really mean. Like
Yeah,
him voting for Bailey was like just like pretty funny. Like
yeah.
we all thought it was hilarious.
He did spill a lot of tea at Tribal, I feel like.
Yeah, Kevin had he was like dressed up in a suit as well, like another potential fashion icon.
True. It's just
Maybe
like
he shared with Cooper.
it's just the best dressed episode.
It's kind of funny also, like a side note, like it seems like originally it seemed like last episode the plan was like, oh, we'll vote off Nick and we'll vote off Sarah. But then like Cooper kind of like decides like, oh, I think I want to like see if we can push the votes on to Kevin instead of Sarah. But like Sarah is like has this very one-sided like, I need Cooper out. Like Cooper screwed me again. Like days since Cooper screwed me like back down to 0. And Cooper is kind of nonchalantly like, oh, like I don't know, what if we get out Kevin this time?
I mean, yeah, Sarah continues to be screwed by Cooper, but still somehow wants to work with him to some extent.
I mean, do you think that is like why does Bailey vote off Kevin here? Like if we're saying Bailey has all the power in the game and she's like, oh, I really like feel sad to vote off Kevin. I really like Kevin. She really like hates Sarah. Like, why isn't she pushing harder for Sarah to go home?
Because I feel like it was easier to get people on board for Kevin. Because like everyone thought he had the idol.
Yeah. The stuff he did have those rumors never left. Poor Kevin.
Yeah.
So he found one idol. Now like the rest of the All Stars is like there's always like this rumor, kind of like this cloud above his head.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just easier to just kind of go with what's happening instead of trying to like start a whole new plan. But
it kind of felt like this week, like a lot of people just didn't really care that much who went home out of the people on the bottom. Like
people are tired.
Yeah, I know. Cooper obviously doesn't want Andrew to go, but it seems kind of like there's like, oh, okay, whatever. I guess Sarah or Kevin or Megan or
Mm-hmm.
Eulogy for Kevin.
Kevin, a iconic Survivor Michigan character from day one, throughout both the seasons. Always there to cause chaos. You know it's gonna be, I don't know. You just know that he's gonna be the wild card of the situation, and you always need the wild card.
Yeah. Kevin's always going to be the wild card for sure. I mean, he's one of the most entertaining like people that's ever been in the show. One of the most memorable, insane, like crazy villain in season 2. Somehow like upstaged that an even bigger villain in All Stars with like the Will thing. I mean, I feel like Kevin said it best in the interview that it seems like he's playing a character more than he's trying to win the game. I mean, it's hard to say exactly what his reasoning is for a lot of his decisions because they don't always make the most sense. But
yeah,
Kevin, I mean, you need people like that. You need to have some wild cards, otherwise it's going to be too boring. You don't. Everyone can't be a game bot.
Yeah, and, if everyone plays logically and perfectly, then it's boring.
Exactly.
You need people who are like, I have no idea what they're gonna do. They might completely blow up the plan, and that's what makes it exciting.
It does, but at the same time, it makes it very hard to work with Kevin because you don't know what he's gonna do. And that's if Kevin really wanted to win the game, I do think that he probably should not have betrayed Will the way he did.
Yeah.
Because Will, it's like, as much as Kevin this episode is kind of complaining about Leia's list and the Friends Alliance, like, I kind of feel like Will would have, I mean, I don't know, Will was tight with Leia, I guess, but I also kind of feel like Will could have been someone that would be working with Kevin and maybe kind of wanted me and Cooper out the same way that Kevin did, and maybe would have had aligned interests. So,
right.
It's hard to say what would have happened if he kept Will in the game, and I understand, well, I guess he wanted to work with Megan and Odawa and everything, but I do feel like Kevin's biggest the kind of thing that led to him going home was just the fact that people didn't trust him. You know, he's so much of a wild card that at a certain point, like, you know, you don't really want to keep that person in the games. You don't know if you can ever trust them.
Yeah. And that's kind of what happened both times.
Yeah. But hell of a player, and he went out with a bang, you know. Voted for somebody who's immune. So,
Yeah.
love to see it. And he voted for an ally. He votes for an ally every time. That's what Cooper was saying. And he goes out voting for his number one ally. It's kind of perfect.
Love it.
All right. So should we rank Kevin in the 11th place pantheon?
Yes. Who else is there? Is it Bree?
Yeah. Well, no.
No, Bree's 10.
In 4th place, we have Cheaty.
Oh, Cheaty.
Yeah, Cheaty. 3rd place, we have Ben from season 3. In 2nd place, we have Eliza from season 4.
Oh.
And in 1st place, we have Matthew from season 1.
Whoa. Okay.
So it's all the season 4 returnees and then Cheaty.
Interesting. Matthew above Eliza, huh?
Eliza season 4, yeah, versus Matthew season 1.
I was thinking Eliza season 3. Okay, this makes more sense. Okay.
This is a pretty good list of people, honestly.
I think he has to go below Eliza. But what happened to Eliza season 4 again?
So she was in that alliance with Tokidoki, and she had an idol, and then she got blindsided with the idol in her pocket by Jackson and Dale. So, yeah, I mean, I guess, like, what do you think about Kevin versus Cheaty? Are we going to put Kevin above
Cheaty? Above Cheaty for sure. Yeah.
Kevin at least was able to, you know, he pulled off a big move. He got Will out. Whether or not it's a good or bad move, like, he made a big move. You know, Cheaty didn't do that. So, versus Eliza, though, I mean, Eliza season 4, like, she was in a good. I feel like if Lisa would have made it to the merge, she was like set up so well because she had like all the girls in Tokidoki loved her, and then even like El Norte would have wanted to work with her, like Megan and Jack and I don't know. So like maybe Katie, I don't know, but I feel like Eliza had a lot of options. If she made it to merge, she got like sniped because Jackson and Dale like realized it, and they had like a perfect opportunity to make a move on her with Katie.
Yeah.
So like I feel like she also got screwed by like the returnee alliance getting leaked to Tokidoki, and then like Dale and Jackson getting suspicious of her. But it's like, what, I don't know, what did she do wrong in season 4? I guess she didn't play the idol. I guess she trusted Jackson and Dale too much. It's like not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Kevin made the merge.
That's true.
Also, Eliza had the idol and didn't play it. Kevin needed an idol but didn't have it.
Yeah. She did find the idol. Kevin, I want to say Kevin only went to 2 tribal councils, right? The one where he voted off Will.
Oh, really?
But did he go to another one?
Was he on Sangria?
So he won all the challenges, then they finally lost, and they voted Will out. And then did you only go to 1 tribal council in the pre-merge?
Maybe, yeah.
He didn't go to the combined one either. So I want to say Kevin only survived 1 tribal council, I guess.
Oh, yeah, because it's like Jackson. He was on Jackson's tribes.
Yeah.
And Jackson got voted off at his. Yeah. It's hard for me to put him above Eliza for some reason.
It definitely. Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, it's hard to put him above Eliza. He did make it further than he did last time. He survived. Mm-hmm. He won. I don't know. He like voted off. He had a big move, but like Eliza was set up really well. I can't really. I feel like it's very difficult for Kevin to win All Stars.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have survived this tribal council, but I feel like if Eliza would have survived the one that she was in,
no, exactly,
he would have had a good chance at winning season 4.
Exactly. Dale's line it was just so like dominant in season 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put him above Chidi, below Eliza.
I agree with that. All right. So we have our new ranking of 5th place, the star with the paper plate herself, Chidi. In 4th place, we have Kevin, season 5. Then we have in 3rd place, Ben. Oh, wait. Oh, I forgot Ben. How did we forget Ben from season 3? So Ben from season 3 is below Lisa. So where does Kevin rank next to season 3 Ben?
Well, season 3 Ben was messy, but yes, Kevin's also messy.
They're both very messy. And they also both betrayed Will.
Yeah. And then they both dropped bombs on their way out, kind of. Ben's was more intense, though.
I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. What do you think?
I still think Ben had a chance of going further if certain things weren't as beefy in that season.
Yeah. I agree. And Ben also, like, was in multiple alliances. Like, he had alliance with Tormenta. He made it cross-tribe alliance with Brady and Tafiti. And, like, he also found an idol. I don't know. These other people are always finding idols. I guess, like, the only difference is, like, I mean, Ben's alliance ended up losing to Will's alliance. But also, like, yeah, I feel like Ben was also probably more respected by the people in the game. I don't know. They both seems pretty messy, I guess, pretty chaotic. But I agree with you that Ben probably has, like, a better chance of winning.
Yeah, I feel like Ben is a slightly more trustworthy ally, or not even slightly. Ben is a more trustworthy ally to have in the game.
Yeah.
Whereas Kevin, you never know if he's going to throw you under the bus or not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So,
I mean, Ben betrayed Will, but he would never have betrayed Brady. And, like,
yeah, like he had people that he was like ride or dies with.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if Kevin really had as much.
Yeah, I mean, he had Bailey, but even Bailey couldn't fully trust him.
Exactly.
So much of a wild card.
And
I really do think that the Will move was just such a bad move that.
Yeah.
As much as it was great TV and, like, it was Shakespearean. It was a perfect move for TV, a perfect Kevin move for what Kevin wanted to do for his character, but just as a survivor move.
Exactly.
Was pretty bad. So, all right. Below season 3 Ben. We have Kevin in 4th place. Then we have season 3 Ben, season 4 Lisa, and then in 1st place, season 1 Matthew.
Wow.
And that is that's episode 9.
Amazing.
So one last thing is Doc's Gotta Speak.
Oh yeah. What's the question this week?
So once again, hearing from Bree. Bree, she basically said that there's, and I think I've seen this too. There's been, like, some questions about Bree's edit, whether, like, oh, we're just not getting, like, a ton of Bree content. Like, what's going on with that? Why are we not hearing more from Bree? So Bree decided that she wanted to speak on this, and I'll play the recording for that.
So I keep seeing this pop up, like, in various places. And Ian has addressed it a few times in the after show, but I figure I could also address it. But basically, I'm not being under-edited. I just simply didn't give them enough content, and it wasn't, like, me beefing with them. At this point, I already, like, spent time on production, and I was very aware of the fact that, like, what was taking season 1 and season 2 so long to, like, come out was the fact that there was just so much footage for the people to, like, go through and storyboard and all that jazz. And so, like, I went back in my Google folder last night just to, like, check. Because Ian I believe Ian when he was like, Brie doesn't have content. So I was like, oh, like, let me check. And I mean, first of all, like, y'all saw, I did not go to tribal council barely in the pre-merge. So, like, I was only giving them, like, a confessional a week. And, like, even, like, sometimes I'd, like, apologize at the end if it was, like, 30 minutes. I'd be like, I'm sorry, this is so long. Like, I really just felt, like, bad that I was, like, giving them too much shit to, like, watch. And in hindsight, I really shouldn't have cared about that. I should have just filmed as much as I wanted to. But, yeah. And then, like, after the merge, I did probably up it to, like, twice a week. Like, I wasn't really doing much filming. I did a lot of filming for, like, my meetings. But, yeah, like, professional-wise, I unfortunately did not give them that much content. I feel bad about it now because now I'm realizing how much everyone else was filming. But yeah, I have not been under-edited. I simply just did not give them content. And that's on me. I'll take accountability. It is what it is.
That makes sense. There is a lot of footage to go through.
Yeah, definitely.
So I understand wanting to not submit as much fluff.
Bree's just she's just too nice. She's just so nice.
She just has Ian's best interests at heart.
Yep, exactly. There you go. That's our dog's got to speak for the week.
Well, next time Jack can hopefully join us.
Yeah.
Because
see if he gets on Leia's list.
Exactly. He'll have to network a little bit, and then maybe he'll be able to join next week.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll see you next week. Again, more great Survivor Michigan coming at you.
On Thursday.
Yes, you're right. Thursday. Man, not tomorrow, not Wednesday. It's on Thursday because of CBS is starting back up.
Yes. Are you going to watch?
Yeah, I'm going to watch.
Heck
I don't know
yeah.
if I'll watch it live, but you know that I'm always going to watch the new season of Survivor. I have to.
Yeah. Got a draft.
Oh, that's nice. Who do you have?
Haven't drafted yet. We draft before.
Okay.
Like right before the episode.
Right on. Well, hopefully your people will survive the draft. Hopefully people you draft will survive the premiere. And then hopefully your fan favorites will survive episode 10. But you got to tune in on Thursday to see. So, on that note, we will see you guys later.
Bye.